All right. We'll be starting today's stream by first apologizing for a mistake done in the last episode. In the last episode, I talked of several schools being bombed in Iran. Point of correction: it was just a single girls' school, and now the casualty numbers are quite unclear because there are claims of over 150. There are claims of over 100, but for sure it's at least over 100 people that died. Kids, by the way, from US Israeli attack. Unclear to up to right now who actually did the attack. Is it the US or Israel? Hard to tell. But let's get to our feature story. So today's story is really about, is Netanyahu dead, and is the new supreme leader also dead? Those are questions really rambling around right now, with both of them not being perceived for over days. And ever since the inauguration of the supreme leader, him of all people hasn't shown himself. We have had some public statement being released, not by him, but by a spokesperson of the administration, we can say. So it's hard to tell if the supreme leader is still alive. And Netanyahu too, after several claims, it's also something that we need to talk about. Is he still alive or is he gone? All right, so before we move on, I'd like to remind you to smash the like button, subscribe, and all the other shenanigans because it really helps the show. We can make this show grow wider and bigger with your help. So we won't ask much from you, just hit those two buttons and thank you. Let's just move on. Okay, first we'll start with Netanyahu and we'll look at the angle and why people claim he's dead. With the various videos you'll see on the screen right now, there are claims of this being AI generated, because looking at this video, this one video, this one you're looking at right now, when his ring disappears. So if you watch it in slow-mo and you watch his left hand, you'll notice that the ring disappears, which is some of the errors always been done by AI. So is that AI? Probably yes. And what does that mean? Right now, it doesn't mean anything that big. And this other video too, it's been making the rounds. A video where he's at a coffee shop, and if you take a look at the tea doesn't spill. So he holds it, it's almost full. Has some gestures with the tea in his hands, but it doesn't spill. Does it still prove anything? Right now, no. Because those are videos from days ago. But today there was a statement by Netanyahu. Now it's impossible for anyone to claim this statement was AI because it looks really like the original Benjamin Netanyahu. Which, oh God, how much I wish he was actually dead. But another thing we should know is, if Benjamin Netanyahu goes away today, it's very probable that the next person that will become prime minister will be even more radical than him. Because believe it or not, we think Benjamin Netanyahu is a far-right, radical Jewish guy, but actually he's just a centrist when compared to the others. He's center-right when you compare him to some of his sectaries. Probably someone like Schmodrich or Ben Gavir rather. Those two guys are far to the right, very far to the right. Someone like the defense minister always talks of how annihilating the Palestinian is one of his missions, rebuilding the third temple and whatsoever that means. I don't really care about it, but that seems to be something very important for him. So if you really take a closer look, you'll understand that if Netanyahu goes down today, the people that are potentially in line to taking his place are far more radical, higher order of magnitudes more radical than he is. Despite the fact I still support him going down, but be careful what you wish for. Be very careful, actually. And so, with that out of the way, it's very important to notice Netanyahu isn't dead. I'll still say it, and I'm ready to take the L in case I'm wrong and it comes out that he's actually dead. I'll accept that fact. But as of right now, Netanyahu isn't dead. He's still well alive. And also now moving to the new supreme leader, the son of the late Ayatollah Khomeini, now Moshtaba Khomeini. He's a very radical guy, even more radical than his dad was. So Moshtaba Khomeini, after being elected, or let's say elected or whatsoever we may say, but after becoming the next supreme leader after the death of his dad, daughter, and wife, probably son also involved in it, he's been not seen even once, or he hasn't officially given a statement to the nation. So, despite the fact that many Iranians have rallied around the flag and have supported the government against the invaders, and this is also why I always say this. If people need liberation, the only way they can ever attain that stage of liberation is by themselves and not by any proxy or anything of that sort. So we've seen that every single place where not just the US but any other country came in saying we are here to help you and liberate you, it always ends very badly for those people. So when I'm saying this type of a thing, I'm looking at mostly here in Africa, Libya especially. Libya is a great example of the people needed liberation. Of course they did. But after the liberation, what happened? What was the plan then? They helped the Libyan people. They helped separatists, arming them and doing everything, even sending ground troops to help them. But after that happened, what happened to the nation? They were finally separated, yeah, but what was the next stage? That wasn't a plan of the people in saying we are here to help. That wasn't a plan, so the nation ended up in chaos and big time chaos. Looking at Syria, the same thing. Looking at I don't know, Afghanistan, just the same thing. Everywhere nations claim to come in as helpers, they end up destroying the nation. So it's far better for any single nation to liberate itself than for anyone to come in and say we are here to liberate. So you understand that what is happening in Iran is more of something that will rally the Iranian people against the suppressing regime which they first hated. Now they will all rally behind it and be more supportive of that regime. So that's one thing. But now for the case of Moshtaba, so is he actually dead? That I'll honestly say I don't know, and it's the cases for him being dead. I would put it at, if I was to bet on it, I'll put it at probably 30%. Because despite the fact he hasn't been seen, despite the fact people claim he was being struck down by Israel, it's still very clear that the nation and the regime is still standing very strong. They have been preparing for this for over 35 years. Ever since his dad took power as supreme leader, there have been preparation for it. But not to go away from our topic, is he actually dead? There have been no official confirmation of him dying, but there have been actually some few statements both from Israel and from the US saying he was severely wounded in some airstrikes, but they didn't talk of him dying. So those claiming Moshtaba is dead, they're just hoping for him to die, which that's not part of my hopes, because looking at it, Moshtaba wasn't just elected by anyone. It was mostly by the IRGC, and the IRGC wanted Moshtaba there because they are kind of able of manipulating him, I would say. Because I believe there will be someone higher in authority than Moshtaba who will be pulling the strings. So Moshtaba is more of a puppet. In some ways, he's more of a puppet, and he isn't the one controlling the nation as a supreme leader. That's just my opinion, by the way. And that said, still, there are no official proofs of him dying. There are some statements of him being hospitalized in Russia and whatsoever. No proofs till now. So, as of right now, I can confidently tell you Benjamin Netanyahu is alive, but Moshtaba is probably in a critical condition. So, with that said, that should be all for me today. Have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Thank you.